Hello everybody and welcome to another live stream. It's me, Phil, today. So welcome, and what we're going to do today is a little bit different. So we're going to start off with some questions so we can get a few people on to answer a few questions. Then after that we're going to do a few full mock speaking tests so we can talk to a few of you and do a full test. And then after that we have got another premiere video, a video that I recorded actually answering some of these test questions as a native, so you can see what a native speaker would say if they were answering the same types of questions. So as we get started, get things sorted out, first of all, let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Let's do a quick mic check. How is the sound for everyone? So let's have a quick look. Okay, excellent. It sounds like you guys can hear me. Right, so I can see already we've got a couple people who want to do a full test. So we can jump in and do some of that. But we also have a series of questions just if you want to practice a few questions. Right, so the information to join the Zoom call, I'm going to put that all into the chat. There we go. So you could see this up here, and don't forget, always watch the videos live so you can keep in sync with what's happening. And if at any point you find it a good video, give us a thumbs up. If you find it a bad video, give us a thumbs down, and just keep talking. Okay, so let's get started with that Zoom call. Okay. Oh, trying to find the right page. Let's just use this page. Okay, so I have launched the Zoom call, and if anyone wants to use the details and jump in, that's great. And just let me know in chat who would like to talk to me. And as I said before, we've got a series of full mock speaking tests we can do today, and we've got a series of part 3 questions. So if you just want to practice a couple of part 3 questions, feel free to do that. And as I said, at the end of this live stream, we're going to go straight into a pre-recorded video that I recorded today, which is me answering one of the mock exam papers that we've got for you today. So hello everyone in the chat. We've got Nav, hello. We've got Maria, Raghav, Shazoda, hello everyone. Okay. So far it's just Maria who's joined the Zoom call, and why don't we go through and have a chat with her. So we'll check if all the volume's working and everything.
Hi.
Hello, yes, I can hear you. Let's just check.
Yeah,
Let's just
happy
check.
to see you here.
Yeah, you too. Okay, looks like we can hear you through YouTube as well. Okay, so you said in the chat you want to do a practice of the full test. Is that right?
Okay.
Yeah, okay, all right. Let's do it. So I've got a couple of different tests today. So if you're not doing it right now, everyone, feel free to jump in and do it later. And of course, if you're joining us for the first time, then you can do that as well. Okay, let's do test 1. Okay. Right. So, Maria, you know the drill. Let's go through and just remember all the things that we've spoken about over the past couple of weeks. And good luck.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so get my timer going. Bear with me a second. Right, so let's begin by talking about your studies. Who was your favourite teacher?
What?
Who was your favourite teacher?
Well, personally, my all-time favorite teacher is probably my math teachers. You know, she taught me when I was in secondary school, and she was enthusiastic and helpful, ready for helping me anytime that I need. Yeah.
How far away was your school from your house?
Well, actually, it is quite far actually, but I can easily get there by my motorbike. Yeah.
What's your major?
Well, I am currently a student in high school, so I chose to focus on English because I want to become a English teacher in the future.
So let's talk about books. How often do you read a book?
Well, honestly, every day I'm up to my ears in work, so I can hardly maintain my habit, which is reading every time. So just can read whenever I free. Yeah, it's maybe twice a week. Yeah.
What types of books do you read when you can?
Well, I am an avid fan of action and romantic books. So they are both great, and I can experience many feelings when I am reading those kinds of books. So that is my all-time favorite. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite author?
To talk about the best author that I admire, I would probably pick Jerling. I don't know how to say that, but she is a eminent writer of a blockbuster that she made is Harry Potter. Yeah.
So I'd like to ask you about snacks. What is your favorite snack?
Oh, actually, in my life, I have many chance to taste a wide range of snack, but I don't have my favorite snack because I think they are indifferent to me.
What snacks did you used to like as a child?
as I mentioned before, I can hardly remember its name uh, because I tasted a wide range of snack types. So yeah, just that.
Okay. Were there any snacks you weren't allowed to eat?
Well, of course it is. There are some kinds of snacks that my parents don't permit me to eat because they are toxic. Although they are really delicious and tasty, but it contains a lot of poisonous substance. For for example, as artificial sweetness. Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on and talk about the next part. So, I would like you to describe a teacher who made an impact on your life. You're going to have to talk about this for 1 to 2 minutes, but before you start speaking, you'll have 1 minute to think about what you would like to say, and you can make notes during this time. Do you understand?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. So, I'm going to give you 1 minute to start thinking. Are you able to see the YouTube screen? Okay. You can see the information?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can see it.
Cool. I'll give you that 1 minute starting now. Okay. Right. So, remember, I would like you to describe a teacher who made an impact on your life, and you can start speaking now. Oh, we go there back. Start speaking now.
Okay. To talk about my a teacher that affect my life, I would probably talk about none another than my English teacher when I was in secondary school. Well, her name is Mary. Her name was Mary, and she taught me English since I was in secondary school. Well, at this time, I must say that I had a hatred for English, and I just didn't find any interest in English, so I couldn't be able to learn it well to pass my English exam, and I like I thought that English was a nightmare to me because it was so hard, difficult, and there are so many grammatical structure that I could hardly remember it. Uh, well, she was really enthusiastic, patient, and always ready to give me advice whenever I need. So she gave me a lot of inspirational stories and recommendation that sparked my interest in English. And I came back to I came back to the basics in English, and I found a lot of exciting thing in that subject. So So that is the reason why I choose to choose my major as an English teacher now. Yeah, I really appreciate
Okay,
her.
thank you. Excellent. So let's move on. We were talking about a teacher, but let's talk about education in general.
Okay.
Why have exams become the standard way to evaluate a student's academic progress?
Sorry, can I ask standard way? What does it mean?
So the standard way means the normal way, the usual way. It's true everywhere.
Yeah. So actually, that is a really tough one, and I'm sure I never thought about it before. Well, from my knowledge, I think that for the reason why exams become more prevalent nowadays to assess a student's academic knowledge due to its benefits. You know, and exams are made like based on what teacher have taught them, and it can like evaluate a student progress because if for example, if a student is focused and concentrate on the lesson, they can probably pass those exams with a beautiful, uh, colorful way, and well, that is
So,
if a student learn.
so you mentioned we were talking about exams there. Is there any alternative to exams? Are there any alternative ways to evaluate academic progress?
I think there's no way that more efficient and beneficial than exams, because they are the best way to evaluate a student academic knowledge.
Okay, so some people say that all education should be free. Can you explain why?
Well, that is really difficult one. I don't know why people say education should be free, but I think that because like if a student study in this school and then they become successful, and they can be a great help to improve the country state, and that is beneficial to the country. And I think that is the reason why people say it.
More and more mature students are enrolling in schools. Are there any advantages to this?
Sorry, sir, I didn't understand the question.
So, more and more mature students, meaning people that go to university later in life. So the more of them are going to schools. Is there any advantage to going to school later in life as a university student?
Well, I think there is something to be said for this situation, as mature people can have a chance to improve their academic knowledge, to have a better a better position in their company or enterprise. Well, but I think there are more disadvantages because they are late to school, so they will be ashamed, and they're afraid because they are studying with younger people, and they just find it out that they are inferior to others.
Okay, thank you. That's the end of the speaking test. Okay, good.
Yeah, education is a complex, a nightmare to me.
Well, here's the thing. I just want to point out to everyone else listening. So you notice that sometimes Maria didn't quite catch the question. Maybe it was me, I was mumbling, it's a bad connection. Or sometimes there were terms that she didn't know. And she asked, can you repeat? What does that mean? And that's exactly what you should do in the exam. It doesn't affect your score in any way. It's far better to ask, sorry, what does that mean, than to give an answer that's not connected to the topic. So that's really good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, overall, I think we've done a few of these mock speaking tests. So I think we're at the same sort of level as we said before. But you're using some really good expressions. I heard a lot of, really good stuff. So let's just go through some things that I heard. Expressions like my all-time favourite teacher. Good, all-time favourite. To focus on was good use. To be up to my ears in something, meaning to be very busy. It's a good idiom, used in exactly the right way there. To be an avid fan of something, very good. What else did I write down? An eminent author. I think that's what you said. Eminent. I think we're talking about authors. Eminent, to be sort of well regarded, perhaps famous or popular in a field. Very good. What else did I write down? To spark an interest in something. That was excellent. To be beneficial. Something to be said. Loads and loads of really good expressions coming out. Just watch out for a few things here and there. So one of the first questions, you were talking about your teacher, who you said she was ready for helping me, or ready for help me. So ready to help. So just watch out for your prepositions there. You were talking about reading, and you said to maintain a habit. So I would say here it's to maintain a hobby, to keep up a hobby, because maintain a habit, it could have a negative connotation. Maintain a bad habit, something like smoking cigarettes or something bad for you. Maintain the habit, it's not what you meant. Maintain a hobby, perhaps. If you're going to talk about the person who wrote Harry Potter, learn her name. J.K. Rowling, or Rowling, depending on the pronunciation. What is it? J.K. Rowling. That's what. Rowling. That's how you say it, not Rowling. Rowling. If you're going to talk about a particular author, make sure you know the name. But it's okay to say, her name's escaped me, but it's the person who wrote Harry Potter. That would be okay, because you're paraphrasing almost there. Watch out for your pronunciation of wide range. Wide range. Wide range. Emphasize the d. Wide range. Say it for me.
Wide range.
Yeah, but I think in the conversation it doesn't come through so well. We were talking about snacks, and you said some snacks are toxic. Toxic is something that will kill you. You might say some snacks which are unhealthy or are bad for you, but toxic, it's not quite the right collocation for a snack. And what else? we were talking about the teacher, okay? When you were doing part 2, you said she taught me since I was at school. Now, from what you said, she's not teaching you now. But if she's still teaching you now, she has
I used
taught
the
me.
since wrong.
What you said was grammatically correct, no mistakes, but I believe that you meant she has taught me since I started school, which would give a different message. So that's just a grammar opportunity. Present perfect obviously is, let's say, more complex than the past simple. It just gives a different message. The other thing I would say is work on your pronunciation of enthusiastic. It's got that weird enthusiastic. That's got the difficult sound, the th sound in it. So work on that. And for the most part, we don't really use colourful in English, meaning we don't describe experiences colourful. It's only things with colour. Clothing can be colourful. You can have colourful language. That's an exception. Colourful language means to swear. A colourful life, perhaps, might mean you've done bad things, you've done strange things. But experiences, for the most part, aren't colourful. I'd imagine that's a translation from Vietnamese. But overall, yes. So I think I said a few weeks ago, you're sort of band 6 to 7. I still feel you're there. Certainly getting to the 7, if not there already. But I felt that with part 3 today, I threw a couple of difficult questions at you. And I feel like your ideas weren't connected as much today. But to be honest with you, between you and me, I did write some pretty difficult questions for part 3 today to really test you. So don't worry too much about that. It probably would be easier in the exam. I'm just trying to test your boundaries today. Okay, so thank you, Maria, for that. And
thank you.
Good work.
Phil?
Yeah.
Sorry. Do you remember the pronunciation trouble that I found the last time?
That is a good question. If I was a better teacher, I would keep detailed notes. So from
no, that is a pronunciation speaking.
Oh yeah.
Me and Reka.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah. So can I say it again?
Yeah. Do you remember it? Because my mind's gone blank, to be honest. Okay, give it to me.
The sound in television.
Oh yeah. Okay, go for it. Television. Very good, actually. Yeah. You've been working on that.
Yeah, I improved it.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well, you worked the hardest, man. So well done for that. Good job.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so I'll talk to you next time, and don't forget, stick around, because after this live stream, we've got I've recorded that. It's not the exam we just did, it's one of the other exams, but I've recorded some answers, so stick around for that premiere later on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Cool.
To seeing it.
I tried my best.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll talk to you later, Maria, and we'll see who else is ready.
Have a nice day.
You too. Enjoy your weekend. Okay. See ya.
Yeah.
Okay, so thanks to Maria. We've got a couple people waiting, so I'm going to add another person in, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so just remember that we've got a few different tests we can do today. I always prepare about 3 exams, and then I've got a series of practice part 3 questions. So if you don't want to do a full mock speaking test today, feel free to jump on the Zoom for for just a couple questions, just to practice if you want. And what we have to do, we're using Zoom, so I'll probably have to start a second meeting at some point. So let's just check. So in Zoom, we've got Zoda. I'm probably saying that wrong, but can you hear me okay? Hey, how's it going? So
Everything is okay.
cool. So let me just double check I can hear you coming through the live stream so everyone else can listen. This should be fine. So where are you calling from today? Which country are you from?
I'm from Uzbekistan.
Okay. So I've never been there, to be honest with you, but I think I do know where it is. So how are you feeling today? Would you like to do just some practice part 3 questions, or do you feel like doing the full 15-minute mock exam? How are you feeling?
I would like to take a full exam.
Well, let's do it then. Okay, so we'll do this the second. Let me queue up the second one. Okay, let's see how it goes. Right, so let me start my timer. Just one moment. Okay. So let's begin by talking about your studies. What subjects are you studying?
Well, as my major, I am studying computer science and physics in my high school.
What school do you go to?
I study at specialized school, which is a presidential school in Khiva, and it's boarding school. I live in campus.
What do you like about your school?
Well, the best thing that I like about my school is foreign teachers, because I can learn lots of things from them, and they are very they are very talented teachers, and I can improve my speaking with them.
So let's talk about soap. Do you use soap every day?
Yeah, I use soap every day, especially in the morning and in the evening.
What's your favorite brand of soap?
Among the other brands, I love Palmolive, which smells very good, and I use it in nowadays because of coronavirus. So we should wash our hands every day.
Do you share soap with anyone?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. Do you share soap with anyone?
As it's the special thing for me, I don't share my soap with anyone because I'm really afraid of some infections. You know, I don't want to share them.
Okay, I'd like to ask you about money. Do you prefer to pay with cash or a credit card?
Well, I prefer to pay with cash because in my hometown it's really comfortable to pay with cash, and also the reason why I don't want to use credit card is I don't have a credit card.
Do people in your country leave tips?
Can you repeat?
Yeah. Do people in your country leave tips?
What does it mean, leave tips?
So a tip is if you go to a restaurant and you pay how much money you need to for the food, and then it's extra money because you're happy with the service to give to the waitress. Extra money.
I don't think people leave tips in my country because the people in my country are really honest, and they want to help each other. So I think they don't
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. So let's move on. Okay. So just before we start part 2, this Zoom call may finish just after this speaking exam, but do stick around because I'll give you feedback. Yeah, and I have to start another Zoom call. But let's do part 2 before that happens. So part 2, I would like you to describe a school project you are proud of. You're going to have to talk about this for 1 to 2 minutes. Before you start speaking, you'll have 1 minute to think about what you would like to say, and you can make notes during this time if you wish. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. And can you see the YouTube screen with the information?
Yeah, I can see.
Cool, excellent. So let me give you 1 minute to think, starting now. Okay, so I would like you to describe a school project you are proud of. Can you start speaking now, please?
Okay. Well, during my school years, I wasn't exactly very much fond of working on a project, but I just didn't have any options to reject them because I should have get some good grades. Now I would like to talk about one of those projects. In my 10th grade, I was given one project that is related to advertising, and the product was good enough, and it was kind of popular snack item, and I was allowed to work with a few other classmates of mine, and they were my friends. It would have been difficult for me if they were not with me, and we were given the time 2 weeks to finish this, and actually we started to work on this project, and it took about 3 or 4 days to agree and kind of argue some come up with some ideas to that product, and we decided to create an advertisement for lemon juice. We started to find
Okay,
information.
thank you. And did you get a good grade for this project?
Eventually, I get 90% out of 100, and it was kind of successful
Okay,
thing
good.
for me.
Oh, good. Okay, so we were talking about school. Let's talk about it in general. So, in many countries, the best schools are private institutions. Should all students be given the same level of education?
Well, I didn't think of that before. I think not all students should be given the same level of education. For example, in my country, some high-level students have given a chance to study at specialized schools, and some students study at original schools. I think the talented students should be improved by government, so it's not about the level of education.
So you mentioned talented students. What is the best way for the government to discover these talented students?
Well, I think the best way to discover this kind of students is to examine them, with some tests or exams. As soon as I'm concerned, I took an exam to get into my current school, and among the thousands of students, I was given a chance to study there.
Some schools are experimenting with shorter and more regular school holidays throughout the year. Why is that?
Can you paraphrase the question?
Yeah. So instead of having a very long summer holiday, they're now having only 2 weeks over the summer and having more holidays throughout the year. So shorter holidays and more school terms. Why would they change that from the traditional system of a long summer holiday?
I think this is because, in my opinion, this is because of climate change and also weather. Because in winter, some students are not able to go schools because of bad weather, like snow or windy days. And in summer, most of the students are able to have lessons with good health. And that's it.
It is said by some that school exams have become easier over time. What is your point of view?
I think it's
Okay, so unfortunately my Zoom call has dropped out there, but I think we were sort of coming up to the 14-minute mark anyway. So sorry about that dropping out, but hopefully you can still hear me. And if we talk about some thoughts for that. So first of all, let's go into the description of today's video, and we look at the speaking band score descriptors. So if you don't know how you're graded for the speaking exam, this is how you're graded. You're graded on fluency and coherence, lexical resource, grammatical range and accuracy, and pronunciation. Okay, so if you guys are still waiting to talk to me today, don't worry, I'm going to start up another Zoom call in just a moment, and I will talk to some other people. But let me just give some feedback to our last student. So you're graded in these 4 different criterias. So in terms of your fluency and coherence, I really didn't have any problem understanding what you were saying. At all times it was fine, and you seemed happy to talk about the familiar topics, part 1, part 2, and the more unfamiliar topics in part 3. And today they are a little bit towards the more difficult side. Just remember, guys, that the examiner for part 3 doesn't have fixed questions. They have suggested topics, and they create the questions there and then, and if they want, they can ask you more difficult questions to really test your level. So that's what I'm doing for everyone today. So if you're finding these questions in part 3 a little bit more complex, that is on purpose. I'm trying to really push your boundaries today. So for that, you're doing fairly well there. Lexical resource, there weren't too many instances of using the wrong word for the wrong situation. Perhaps what I didn't hear too much of is what's known as idiomatic vocabulary. So things like idioms, expressions. So we heard from Maria before. She was using idioms quite a lot, and most importantly, using them in the right context. There's no point just throwing in words. You've got to use the words in the right way. So maybe practice this a little bit more. The best way to learn less common and idiomatic vocabulary: watch a lot of TV, read a lot of books, listen to native speakers, because we use it all the time, and you can pick it up and use it yourself. Grammatical range and accuracy, I would say I heard some more complex grammar structures, but I also heard a few basic mistakes. Now, let's get into some details. So, first of all, I think this is a pronunciation error. I don't know if it's actually a grammatical error. So, we're talking about your school, and you mentioned that you said it's boarding school instead of it's a boarding school, and you said you live campus instead of live on campus. Now, from my knowledge, in Uzbekistan, the main language is Russian, I believe. I may be wrong about that, but I believe it's Russian. And I believe that in Russia, you may not have things like prepositions. Now, my knowledge of Russian is very limited, but whenever you don't have a grammatical feature in your own language, and you do have it in English, you've got to concentrate on that. If you don't have prepositions, if you don't have articles, and the, you've got to concentrate on that. Now, I suspect this is not so much a grammatical thing. I think this is a pronunciation problem, because in English, the words like and on, we don't emphasize them, we don't stress them, so it's not that easy to hear them when natives actually speak. This is something quite important, because it's really going to drag your score down. Also, in the pronunciation, area, just watch out for the TH sound in English, the sound in thought, the sound in the. Because I was hearing a lot of duh and dare instead of the and there. So just be careful of that. And a similar pronunciation error, I heard I afraid of instead of I'm. Just got to make sure you put a little bit of emphasis on the I'm if you're using the contraction of I am. But I heard some great stuff. I was given a project, great use of the passive in past tense. That was really good. To come up with some ideas. Again, a great expression to use. What else? Just watch out for the grammar opportunities. When we were talking about one of the questions, you were using an expression to give yourself time to think. And you said, I didn't think of that question before. What a native would say is, I haven't thought of that question before, because it's a life experience rather than an event in the past. So grammatically, what you said is correct, but it's not how a native would say it. So overall, I would say, again, just because of what will come through as basic grammatical errors, you'll probably be the 5 to 6 range. But just by tightening up a few things, I could easily see you getting a 6 to 7 range. I just feel that missing out on the basic articles and things like that, it's going to push down your score. But as I said, it's a pronunciation error. If you fix that, concentrate on that, you'll push your score up. Okay, so, but well done. That was a very good effort. So let's see if anyone else is going to join me. So I'm going to start up the Zoom call again. We've got enough time to go through a little bit more before we go to the premiere, and you guys can hear my effort and you can see if you think I do any better than you do. It's possible. Okay, so just bear with me. I'm going to restart the same meeting that we just had, and you can use the same information to join this meeting. And if you haven't spoken to me before, this is a great opportunity to get a bit of feedback, because let's face it, knowing your estimated band score is useful. It certainly is useful, but getting the feedback from a real teacher and knowing what you need to work on, that's the real value here, okay? Because at the end of the day, the IELTS is just an exam. It's just something you need to do to get to your university of choice, to go live abroad, whatever you plan. So we just got to get through the exam and get the desired band score, and then you can do whatever you want in life. The power of IELTS. Okay, so we've got a few people joining. Don't forget, if you come to the chat in this video, and it's still the same information that's in the pin at the top, okay? So feel free to come and join me. And yeah, if you're finding this useful, if you like these videos, then don't hesitate, give us a like. It does mean that we can reach more people, because honestly, I don't think we reach enough people. So if you want to give the opportunity to other students to do this, give us a like, and come over to the website, theIELTSGrind.com, and click on live stream schedule, and you can find out when we're going live. So Michael and I, this is me, Phil, this is Michael, we're based in Taipei, so all our times are based on the time here in Taipei. So it's about 5 to 9 in the evening. And this is our schedule. So today we're doing mock speaking tests. And tomorrow Michael will be doing a group speaking class at 6 p.m. If you haven't joined us for one of those, Michael is really, really good at that. He likes talking to people. Not that I don't, but he really likes talking to people. And you'll notice that each week we have a topic. So this week it's education. Next week we're doing architecture. Then we're talking about companies on the week starting the 20th of September. And the following week it will be back to school subjects again. You can notice a theme there. Okay, so let's see who is joining us for the next one. Okay. So I've got Nav in the Zoom call. If you can hear me, just say hello. So Raghav asks, why no writing and reading classes? Well, to be perfectly honest with you, at the moment we're not doing writing or reading classes because Michael and I were actually working on a project for writing that we're trying to get done because we're both full-time teachers, right? So we do this sort of in our spare time. So we're trying to come up with a writing course, and in terms of the live streams, writing's not that popular. People don't seem to like it that much. And the reading, in a similar way, it takes a lot of time because we have to create the resources ourselves. And so we're doing what basically people seem to like more. But don't worry, Raghav, we will be coming out with more writing and reading things in the future. It's just a question of time at the moment. Okay, but so in the Zoom call, we've got Nav. If you're there, say hello. Just having a few little technical issues with audio, things like that, but hopefully we'll get them sorted. So I think Nav's having a little issue with the audio. It's not connecting to the audio just yet. Give it a couple more seconds, and then if not, what we might do is I'll talk to another student, and we can try again. The best advice, if something's not working on your computer, turn it off and turn it back on again. It normally fixes the problems for me. See, technical IT tech support as well as IELTS. Okay, so Nav, it doesn't seem like it's working. So try again. Maybe restart your Zoom, come back, and what I'll do is I'll talk to someone else. So who's been waiting the longest? Okay. See if we can try it with someone else. So yeah, so Nav, if you can hear me through the YouTube stream, just try restart your Zoom thing, and I'll try and talk to you after. Hopefully it's not my computer that's making the technical error. Hope not. Let's see if it works. Okay, so can you hear me? Excellent. Okay. So just remind me, what is your first name and where are you calling from today?
Well, my name is Ling, but you can call me Mary. And I'm come from Vietnam, which is a small country. Yes.
Yeah. So, Mary, I think we've spoken before, haven't we? I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Excellent. How about we do some practice of part 3 questions? And we do a little bit of a practice, and I will give you some detailed feedback. Does that sound okay?
Yes. Okay. I'm really excited to join it.
Okay. Excellent. Okay. Good. Right. So, what I'll do is ask you. So I've got 3 questions prepared. But I'm going to ask you follow-up questions because that's what the examiner will do. It's more of a discussion in part 3. So there's 3 questions and you should expect more questions, okay? The follow-up questions. So let's get started. So, branded clothing can be very expensive. Why is that?
Yes, well, in my opinion, is exactly very expensive to for brand clothing because it's high quality and good looking outfit. So many rich women or people like that are really interested in brand clothing.
Is there anything negative connected to buying these types of clothes?
Can you repeat?
Yeah. So is there anything negative that's connected to buying these types of clothes, these branded clothes?
Yes. It heavily a little difficult for the poor people who don't have enough condition to buy, and people like this. Yes.
Okay. So some companies will sue another company to protect their rights to their logo. Is that fair?
Well, in my opinion, I think is actually happen for companions through another companion because each companion will promote and develop their own brand and reputation, so they must sue with another to have a better. Yes, I actually agree that is fair.
Okay. Should countries develop their own logos?
Well, in the world, in today's world, there are a lot of competition or many things that we need develop and enhance it for our logo, and I think countries should develop their own logos because it's will will be a motivation for their citizens to study and work hard every day.
Can you think of an example of a country or a nation which has like its own logo, its own brand? Is there any country that has that already, or something like a logo? Can you think of an example?
Yes. For example, in my country.
Okay. Oh, I think we've lost the sound there. Can you still hear me, Mary? Okay, it looks like we've lost the sound for some reason. Okay, so yeah, so there you were using some good phrases there. I like the collocation. You mentioned high quality clothing. That was a good use of vocabulary there. So we were talking about poor people. You mentioned poor people when we were talking about the branded clothings, and I asked if there was anything negative connected to that. So you mentioned poor people don't have the conditions to buy it. Now, I wouldn't use conditions there. I would say perhaps poor people don't have enough resources to buy these clothes. They don't have enough money. They're not in a position to buy the branded clothing. So not we wouldn't say poor people don't have the condition to do it. It's the resources or the ability. So we were talking about companies. So just watch out for the pronunciation of this. Companies. So I don't know if... Are you back with us, Marie? Are you able to... Is your microphone working again?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So just practice that pronunciation for me. Companies.
Company.
Companies.
Company.
Better, yeah. So a company, two companies. Say it for me.
Yeah.
A company.
A companies.
A company, two companies.
A company to company.
The other way around. A company, two.
A company.
Yeah, two companies.
A companies to company.
So you're just mixing up your plural there. So this is just work on that pronunciation, because if you listen back to this live stream, because it goes out, it will as soon as we finish these live streams, they go straight up on the channel, normally within a few hours. So come back and listen to yourself and just listen to the pronunciation of that. So companies, a company, and you can see the two examples there. Some companies will sue another company. So this was just something to work on for your pronunciation. And I think possibly when we spoke the last time, I did mention the TH sound. And this is, most students struggle with this. The th in think and the th in the or there. And I believe in most languages this sound just doesn't exist, which is quite tricky when you're learning English. So what I heard was, instead of saying their own, I'm hearing dare, and it's simply because you need to put your tongue between your teeth and to push air over your tongue. If you keep your tongue inside your mouth, you'll say d, or you'll say s, or you'll say le instead of the or you know, all these like think, the, all these kind of words. So this is just something to work on with the pronunciation. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and yeah, so overall, I think you had a few ideas. You were linking them together. That was okay. But yeah, just those are the main things I would say. Just watch out for some phrases. So it's the collocation. Poor people, they don't have the ability or resources to buy clothing. The pronunciation of company and companies, and the pronunciation of their instead of a dare. Okay, so I think we're going to move on. But what we'll do is perhaps next time, Maria, we can do the full speaking exam perhaps next time. I'm going to say goodbye to Marie. We'll talk again next time. And cool. So thanks for joining me, and talk to you later. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Okay. So thanks, Marie. Thanks. And I think I've got time to do one more person, and then, as I said, what I've arranged. So I sat down, Michael and I, we grabbed lunch last week. It's been about 2 months since we've been able to hang out and brainstorm, because Taiwan's been in lockdown. Pretty well, not total lockdown, but pretty much lockdown. So we grabbed dinner last week, and we thought, what's a really useful way to add to these Friday night streams? And we decided, how about if I do an example? So we've got a video coming up, and I go through one of these exams, and just like a native would talk. And I think you guys will find it interesting, because I've just done it in a natural way, and you'll notice that I hesitate. You notice that I think about what I'm going to say next, and you'll notice that I say and because that's how real people talk when they're asked difficult questions. So this is the biggest tip that we can give you. If you want to improve your speaking, you need to listen to native speakers. For one, what we say is 99% perfect all the time. Native speakers still make mistakes grammatically. There are whole regional accents in the UK which are full of grammatical mistakes. If you ever go to study in Yorkshire, in the north of England, you'll notice so many grammatical mistakes, but that's because it's their dialect. But the thing with native speakers is our accents are perfect. The way that we talk is the way that you should speak English. So if you listen to real natives, you're going to get much closer to that level, okay? If you rely on non-natives to learn from, it's not a great way. If you practice with your friends when you're speaking, that's an excellent way to improve your fluency, but it's not going to help you with your pronunciation. So this is why we've got this video coming up. Okay, but I digress. I'm talking when I shouldn't be talking. I should be talking to someone else. So let's get another volunteer into the hot seat. And just let me know when you can hear me. So Jahona, I'm not sure if I'm saying that correct. So let's check if you can hear me, if the volume's working okay, if your microphone's plugged in. You can't hear me through Zoom. Okay. That's a shame. So keep trying. See if we can get you going. How can I get a 7 in speaking? Good question from Mr. Zurax. I might be saying that wrong. Okay, so the answer to that is quite simply, how can I get a band 7 in speaking? It's all here in the band score descriptors. Okay, if you look at the different points here, okay, it may not make a lot of sense right now, but all the information's here. So we actually did a video about this kind of thing. It was actually, I think it was around how to get a 6.5 or higher in IELTS speaking. So we did a full video about this. So I did this a little while ago, and it kind of explains it a little bit. So the video's in the chat for you, but it's basically you're speaking to a certain standard. So what you need to do is, so for about 6 to 7 bands, you're somewhere around it's about a B1 in the European. So I can hear myself coming through Zoom at the moment. So what was I saying? Yeah, so you're sort of it's roughly around a B1. Don't quote me on that. My mind's trying to do the conversion. But you're basically, you have that grammatical ability, you have that vocabulary ability to that level, and you're speaking about things at length. You're able to connect your ideas together well. These are the kind of things that you're looking at. So it's all written here, but I kind of explain it a little bit better in the video, how to get 6.5 or higher in IELTS speaking. And I spent the entire 1 hour talking about how to do that. And I have a handy little PowerPoint and everything. So if you're interested in looking at that. So Rupinder asks, how difficult is it to get a band 9 in speaking? Well, it depends, right? Because a band 9 is indistinguishable from a native speaker. It's the same level as me, okay? So it's not impossible. One of the best teachers I've ever met was a friend of mine. We worked together. She was Spanish. Her first language wasn't English, and she was a better teacher than me, and her vocabulary was better than me as well. So it's possible. If you're going to get a band 9, you would have to totally immerse yourself in the language. You would have to live and breathe English. You would have to be reading at a native level, interacting with natives and non-natives, speaking English a lot. It's a lot of work, but it is possible. But it will not happen overnight. I mean, it's difficult for me to say because I obviously learned English from birth, but it's just, it takes a lot of work, but it's not impossible. People do it, but you don't need to get a band 9. You simply don't need to get a band 9. 99% of people don't need to get a band 9. You just need to get, for the most part, it's 6.5. If you want to go to university, 6.5. Some special cases may need an 8, but I've not met anyone, unless they were trying to do IELTS for immigration, where it's a point-based system, like in Canada, for example. There, the more points you get, the better. But yeah, so it's not maybe not the best answer, Rupinder, but it is the truth. It's possible, but yes, it's not overnight. Okay, so is everything working okay now in the Zoom? I can hear you, yes. Let me just make sure everyone else can hear you. So just remind us, what is your first name and which country are you calling from?
My first name is Jahona.
Okay, Johanna, nice to meet you. And where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Uzbekistan.
Okay, excellent. So you maybe can answer this for me. Am I right in thinking that the main language in your country is Russian? Is that correct? Or am I totally off base there?
No, the main language in our country is Uzbek, but we learn Russian too.
Okay, I was totally wrong. So, yes, okay, fair enough. You learn something new every day. Thank you for correcting me. Okay, Is it similar to Russian or a totally different language?
To tell the truth, it's totally different.
Okay. See, I'm showing my ignorance there. Thank you for correcting me. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through a couple of questions because I'm very nearly out of time for this live stream. But we'll do a couple of practice questions today, but do feel free to come back another time and we can speak again. But let's go through a couple of questions and I will give you some feedback. So, first question. Should children be forced to exercise? Can you still hear me okay?
No. Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes, of course. Should children be forced to exercise?
Yeah, of course. I think it's really crucial for everyone to be healthy and try to stay healthy by eating a well-balanced, low-fat diet with lots of fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Because it stimulates children's thinking capabilities, their creativeness, and of course, they will gain energy for the whole day.
Too much exercise is just as bad as too little. What do you think?
I think it depends on the situation. For example, a particular individual, if he or she is training daily, he will get used to it. So the more exercise means he is not really tired. So it's better to exercise more than never doing it.
So you mentioned that we can build up sort of a habit of exercise. What would be the ideal amount of exercise per day?
Well, as I'm a student, I usually get up in the morning, so I tend to do my daily exercises at about 7 o'clock, and every time when I go to sleep, so it means 2 times a day. It's okay.
Why isn't everyone a member of a gym?
Well, that's an interesting question. It can depend on financial condition of a person. For example, if they don't have the money to enroll to this kind of courses, or they just don't have a passion for it. So that can be a reason.
Okay, good. So we just go through a few questions just so I can give you some feedback. So overall, I feel that you obviously understand the questions for the most part. You're given answers that are logically put together. That's really good. I think your fluency is good as well. I have no problem understanding what you're saying. So excellent. What I would say is just make sure you concentrate on the question, okay? For most people, for most students, it really doesn't matter if the question matches the answer. It's only when you're going for the higher band scores that it really does start to matter. So, for example, the first question I asked, should children be forced to exercise? And you gave me an answer with a lot of really good expressions. You mentioned balanced diet, whole grains, all this sort of stuff. But that's very much to do with what you eat. The question was, should they be forced to exercise? So you were talking very much about diet, and you didn't really touch on like the physical exercise that much. So just make sure if you're going to do that, you paraphrase the topic. Make sure it matches up as much as you can. And to a certain extent, I would say for this question, so this one about how much exercise is bad, just make sure you're answering the question directly. I think it was actually the follow-up question I asked to this. So the way to answer a question in English is directly. I asked you how many hours should we exercise a day, or how long should we exercise? So if I was answering this, I would say ideally you need to get your heart pumping for at least 30 minutes a day. I personally wake up quite early in the morning, I have my breakfast, then I hit the gym and I run on the treadmills for about an hour. So you noticed how I answered the question directly, then I give my supporting sentences. This is really how we go about answering questions in English. So that's just something to keep in mind. And we were mentioning, why isn't everyone a member of a gym? And you mentioned that some people don't have the financial conditions. Again, I think I would say financial resources. So the collocation there was just a little bit off. So I would say for you, perhaps it's just about structure. Just think about, do your answers match up to the questions? And apart from that, I think you're on the right track. Okay. Any questions at all for me?
Thank you. I got it.
Yeah, excellent. So excellent job. And what I would say is come back and talk to us again. And hopefully next time we'll be able to do the full test. But I think we're...
When will be the next time?
Oh, okay.
I will go.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So we do this live stream for the mock speaking every single Friday. So again, if people come to the website, the IELTSGrind.com live stream schedule, every Friday 8 p.m, which is Taipei time, we do this, and we've got it booked up for the rest of September, every single Friday. And there's other live streams as well. Tomorrow my colleague Michael is doing group speaking classes, so feel free to jump on tomorrow at 6 p.m. and tomorrow's a lot more interactive, a lot more people, and Michael gives a lot more feedback and exercises and things like that, whereas today it's a lot of one-on-one mock speaking tests. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me. Thank you for educating me about your country's language. I won't forget that. And maybe I'll talk to you again later. Okay, so bye-bye.
Thanks a bunch.
Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye. Okay, bye. Okay, so, right. So thank you everyone for joining me. If you didn't manage to jump on the live chat today onto the Zoom calls, come back and join us again next Friday. And of course, as I said, we are back tomorrow. So the 11th of September, tomorrow. Michael's back at 6 p.m. But coming up in a few moments, if I can figure out how to do it, there it is. Coming up, we've got my example, if I can show it. So we're going to listen to me talking about one of the mock exams today. So feel free to watch that video with me, and yeah, just leave some comments and tell me what you think. So I will see you again next Friday for more of these live speaking tests. And thanks everyone, you guys are just amazing. I can't believe how good you guys are. I couldn't do this myself in another language, so you guys rock. Well done.